Okay guys, welcome to another episode of our project analysis series. So today we'll be talking about the most affordable launch in 2025, which is located in Canberra, which is Canberra Crescent Residences. If you have not heard about it, then you better act on it fast, yeah?
Okay, why? Because the prices is actually very super attractive. The guide price is already out, and which we'll touch on later.
Yeah, so for Canberra Crescent Residences, in short we call it CCR, we have one bedder all the way to 4 bedders. And many of the concerns of the buyers out there today, if you're looking to buy in the north, right, especially in Canberra, I think would be, right, there is a large supply of EC over there. So with this large supply of EC, can you still enter Canberra Crescent Residences or not?
So we are very familiar with this area because we grew up in this area, and those of you who have seen our previous video, we actually bought one Canberra and we sold off recently. So we will be analysing these CCR and share with you a bit more on which you need to avoid and which you need to go for, prioritize during your balloting if let's say you get a good ballot number.
Yeah.
Alright?
Okay, so without further ado, let's move on to the fact sheet. Okay, so CCR is jointly developed by King Leong and also Lo King Huat. Okay, so there's 376 units, 4 blocks of 12 stories units. Okay, so there's something special about this development whereby at block 55 and 57 there will be a sky garden, and also there will be a childcare center in this development. Okay, so expected TOP is actually around Q3, Q4 2028. Yep. And there are 382 residential car park lots, then some EV lots. Most of the time nowadays they have EV lots already. Okay, so shuttle bus service, we have 1 year of complimentary shuttle bus service to Sembawang MRT, Bukit Canberra SG, the sports hall, and also Canberra MRT. But if you don't need the shuttle bus, technically it's just 10 minutes walk to Canberra MRT. Okay. So about the developers, so King Leong and Lo King Huat, they are actually quite well-known developers lah. Some projects that you may already know maybe is Water Gardens at Canberra. This is a newly TOP project in 2025 at Canberra also. This is also developed by them. Claim at Cairnhill, the Minton, Mayor House, also developed by them. Okay. Next, let's talk a little bit about the location. So Canberra Crescent Residences will be over this side, this L-shaped block over here. So you are located in an area whereby there are a lot of BTOs. And the BTOs are, the 3 rooms are going for 500 plus, 4 rooms going for 600 plus, the 5 room flat are hitting 700 plus, 800 plus. Even the 4 room flats closer to Canberra MRT, they are going for 700 plus K and high 700s. Yeah. So what the amenities you have here is there are currently no primary school nearby, but there are some in Sembawang MRT, Sembawang side and also Yishun side. But there will be future education block in the area. Okay, so Canberra MRT is over here, this side, and Canberra Plaza is over here. Canberra Plaza, you get your amenities like NTUC, Ya-Kun, Max, A&W, KFC. Basically, you get most of the stuff now. Okay,
so and the McDonald's got a indoor playground.
Yeah, McDonald's got indoor playground. So if you have kids, it's a bonus now because our kid always go there and he run like a beast. Okay, yeah. So right behind CCR, right, we actually get all these BTO. This whole thing are BTO lah. Okay, then you get your Sheng Siong coffee shop over this side. Okay.
Okay, so for Canberra Crescent Residences, like what Alvin mentioned earlier, we actually have a childcare in need. So for those of you who have kids or planning to have kids, young couple, it will be good for you because you don't have to spend too much time traveling to the childcare like us. We spend like driving about 15 minutes every day to drive our child to school. Yeah, so you just bring down to the childcare, and when you when you reach home, just bring your childcare and then back at home. So this childcare will be located inside the project itself.
Yeah,
okay?
So not all condos and also the ECs inside here, there's no childcare center in their project. Only Water Gardens have. Okay. So for the primary school, secondary, tertiary, there's a good mixture lah. So within 1 km there will be Wellington and Sembawang Primary. So Wellington is recently very hot and is heavily oversubscribed. Okay. Canberra and Chongfu, one of the better schools also, they are also in the vicinity, but it's not within 1 km, it's within 2 km. Okay, then secondary we have Yishun Town, Chongqing High. Yeah, so we are very familiar because we are from Canberra Primary and Yishun Town side. Yeah, so this area very familiar. Okay.
Okay, next, let's talk about the unit mix. So for the unit mix, right, we actually have 1 to 4 bedder. As you can see from the chart, most of it, the bulk of it is at 3 and 4 bedder. Why? Because in this area, the demographic is more for HDB upgraders, for family, more on own stay instead of investment. That's why developer actually located more percentage of the unit to the bigger ones.
Yeah.
Right?
So for the maintenance fee wise, pretty standard. 1 bedder 330, 2 bedder 396, 2 bed premium also 396. 4 bedder you get $460 plus. Okay, so it's quite straightforward, pretty I think well balanced lah. Because even for our resale property, we are currently paying 300 plus per month for a 3 bedder. Yeah. Then we talk about the site plan here. Okay, so this plot is a very interesting plot. It's L-shaped. Okay, so 74% of the site area is actually dedicated to greenery and facilities. Yeah, this is quite rare because you won't be able to find this type of like 74% set aside for greeneries or those in those EC plots. So bigger units are all on the side here. So all the bigger units are all this type. The smaller units are the 4 units in the middle. Okay, and here you actually get a special Canberra club, which is inside a condo. So basically you get a function room and blah 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 lah. Okay, so especially tucked at the upper right corner. But one downside for this project is there's no tennis court and it's not full condo facilities lah. Okay. Next we talk about the views. So L shape over here. Okay, so right opposite your units, right, over here this side are all low-rise landed. Maximum they go until 3 to 4 stories. Yeah. Then for here will be HDB flats, 590 to 592. Okay. So most of the units here, if you get a good clearance, maybe 4th floor, 5th floor and above, right, you can actually get a good view over here of the heritage black and white houses which are over this side. Okay. But if you're on the other side, you're facing the south side, right? You're facing education, or you are facing HDB over this side, then future education over this side as well. Yeah, so the better views are actually the ones that are facing north, the upwards one. Yeah, so previously just now what we mentioned was here are all the videos. Yeah, Sheng Siong eateries are all over here lah. Okay. Yeah, so now we talk a little bit about the finishing. So for the compact and smaller units, right, from 1 bedder, 2 bed compact, 2 bed premium and 3 bed compact CA, we actually have the orange and dark grey theme. So orange and dark grey. Okay. Then there are built-in kitchen cabinet provided in laminate and melamine finishing with engineered stone worktop and glass black splash. Yeah.
Okay, so for the larger units, right? Okay, so for this project, they actually have 2 color themes. For the larger units, as you can see, right at the bottom right here, it's actually grey and wood grain theme. Okay, and then the kitchen cabinet, the countertop, and then the black splash is exactly the same as the smaller units. So just the theme is a bit different.
Yeah.
Okay?
So for those buyers out there who are a little bit particular about the orange color, don't need to worry, this just laminate. You can just easily laminate something over as well if you don't like the orange color. But this is part of the project. Some of the walls are actually orange color as well. Okay, so for the smaller units, the compact ones, right, additionally, aside from the orange color wall, developer also actually catered for your washing machine to be outside in the balcony, and they actually built the balcony cabinets for you. Okay, so quite special because that means there are water outlet at the balcony. So, but for this, there are some stuff to take note.
So for this, right, you have to take note about the maintenance because the water might come in, and then for this you actually have to speak to your ID to see how you can go about doing this for the protection plan. But nonetheless, it's still a very good gesture by the developer. Yeah. Yeah,
by water she meant the rain. When it starts to rain, then your kitchen cabinet, your balcony cabinets will kena. Okay. So before we talk about the layouts, this will probably be the most important question in all the buyers out there, right, who are intending to buy CCR. This will be the question in your mind. Is it still safe to enter CCR with a huge EC supply in this area? Okay, so to actually address this issue, right, let us draw a comparison between the EC and the condo in the area. So we will take the newest EC, which are the Brownstone and Visionaire, because Park Canberra and Provence are not so fast, haven't even MOP, they just collected keys maybe last year. Yeah, and we will take the newest condo, Water Gardens and Water Gardens and the Commodore to make a comparison, to see whether it still makes sense to buy a condo. Because initially when they entered Water Gardens and Commodore, there are a bunch of ECs out there also, like One Canberra, all those things, because we bought during that era. Yeah, when Water Gardens launched, we bought a resale One Canberra. Yeah, so back then there was a price gap as well. Yeah, the resale EC was more affordable as well.
Okay, so moving on to the visionaire, okay, let's dive deep into the data. As you can see for the 3-bedder, right, it's actually going for about 1.4 to 1.5 range. Okay, here we have some 4-bedders, like we just strike off. So for 3-bedder is about 1.4 to 1.5 range, and the PSF is going for average about 1.425 PSF. Okay, this project TOP in 2018 and MOP 2 years ago in 2023. Okay, so it's about 7 years now. Okay.
Yeah. So for Brownstone, likewise, the MOP slightly earlier, 2022, TOP 2017, around 8 years. Average PSF around 1426 over here. Yeah, so 3-bedders in this area are going for around 1.3 plus for the compact ones. Then the bigger ones are going for 1.4. Okay. Then for the 4-bed, they are going for around 1.6 plus, because recently we went to view some also.
Alright, so now let's take a look at Commodore. So we already touched on the resale EC. Now we are going on to Commodore and Water Gardens, which is the private condo. Okay, so the average PSF for Commodore is about 1.8 PSF, and for Water Gardens is about 1.75 PSF. So both units, both projects actually TOP this year, so they just collected key this year.
Yeah, so you can see that, right, even though the resale EC are going around 1.4k PSF, the price gap is around 300 to 400 PSF. But there's still demands for these newer condos, even though they are more expensive as well. So healthy transactions, average 1.7 to 1.8k PSF. And you can look at Water Gardens, right, the 3-bedders over here, over this side. Yeah, their profits 380 plus, 290 plus. So their average, right, they are going for around 1.6 to 2 million. Yeah, and 1.6 million can actually get you a 4-bedder in Brownstone. So why are still people buying into all these newer condos when there are cheaper options? There's a price gap. Yeah, so some simple reasons. Some people, they prefer new condos. They prefer condos that are not stayed before, because all these people, they just collect the keys. The lights not even installed, they sell. Yeah, they want something brand new, so, and technically you're still under the defect check by the developer, so you don't need to do much reno as well. You fix the lights, curtains, you're good to go. While on the other hand, Visionaire and Brownstone people, they have stayed 5 years before selling. And some of them even stayed even longer, 7, 8 years, then they sell. Yeah. And another thing is, the finishing for condo technically is a little bit better than the ECs, because we have viewed a few ECs and condos. Condos finishing are always slightly better. EC is more about the price quantum, cheaper for people to digest.
If you have been to Visionaire and compared to Water Gardens, right, you will see that there's a difference when you step into the project. Okay, so if you as a buyer, if you are considering to buy CCR, okay, this data really shows that even though you are buying a private condo in an area with a lot of EC supply, you still are able to make a good, comfortable profit. But the downside is that there are a lot of competition around here.
Yeah, so for you to enter CCR, you must have holding power, because it's not like when you lease your unit, right, then it gets sold immediately. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, furthermore, when CCR TOP, right, you will be so much newer compared to by then Water Gardens, Commodore, Brownstone, Visionaire. So you appeal to people who want new. But of course, at the same time, Park Canberra and Provost is going to TOP also. But likewise, the same few rules still apply. Some people will just want new ones. Some, they just want units whereby no people stayed before. So it's not that we are saying you cannot enter. You can enter, but you must have holding power.
Not say like you don't want to, when you collect your key after 4 years, you want to sell, you can immediately sell off that kind. You still have to, move in. You might have to move in and stay and sell at the same time. Because
when you want to do that, your other neighbors are doing that also. Everybody is going for the same thing. Okay, so for next, we'll talk about the indicative pricing which has been released. Okay, so 1-bedder is starting from 880 per square foot, around 2152. So there's only 3 units here, so it's either you get it or you don't get it. Okay, so only 3. 2-bedders we have 91, starting from 1.11. 3-bedders we have 198 units, starting from 1.53. 1.53 guys is crazy price. For 3 bedder 1.53, I don't think you can find anywhere else lah. Okay, and 4 bedder starting from 2.2. Okay, so moving on to the 1 bedroom layout. Okay, so 3 units only. All of them, they are actually facing the landed view. Okay, so for all of them, they're actually facing the black and white heritage, the landed views over there, but they are at the ground floor. Okay, so stack 12 2029. One interesting thing is there's no balcony for this layout. Yeah, so normally there will be some balcony over here lah, but this one have no balcony. Okay, so when you walk into the unit, open kitchen concept over here, pretty straightforward. This one normally open kitchen one. Then dedicated dining space over here. Then your bathroom, there's no windows for your bathroom, but this is also normal for 1 bedder because 1 bedder is investment. Then there's dual entrance lah when your master, then for your guest to enter from the living room. Okay, so for this 1 bedder, even though there's no balcony, I would say it's still good enough for bachelor. If you are a single, you're just intending to be single for life, then you just want a cozy space, I would say this is pretty good enough.
Okay, so for you as a buyer, if you have the concern of, let's say if you buy a 1 bed at CCR at 880,000, will you still be able to exit in future? Let us show you the data.
Okay, so we look at this example from Commodore. 1 bedder at 463 square feet. So layout pretty decent. You have a balcony over here. Okay, you have a balcony over here. Likewise, you go in, walk-in wardrobe. You don't have a dedicated dining space. Likewise, dual entrance for the bathroom. So this one pretty straightforward. 1 bedder mostly look like this. Won't have an enclosed kitchen one. So you can see, right, these 463 square feet in Commodore, previously they probably bought 700 plus. The cheapest was 700k on launch day. Yeah, so they actually sold for 895k with a profit of 168,000. Okay, so initially, I tell you, when they want to buy 1 bedder 700 plus k, that time we also think, how? Cannot one lah. Yeah, next time you want to sell how much? 800k, who buys? But in the end, guys, they prove us wrong. So this has been proven that there will still be buyers. Okay, then 463 square feet. Okay, so today CCR is harmonized. This one last time Commodore non-harmonized. Okay, so we take around 7% deduction for a gauge. So effectively will be 430 square feet compared to today's size. Okay, so comparable to CCR of 409 square feet, and just less the balcony. And starting price 880k. So this one can buy or cannot buy. This one honestly is the cheapest in the whole of Singapore for 1 bedder. Yeah, but of course we also have to understand the demographics in this area as well. So Commodore already transacted at 895k for 1 bedder. By then, few years later, you are newer. Is it safe to enter this price at 880k or not?
So one thing to note is in this area, right, like what we mentioned, there are a lot of ECs, right, resale ECs. And for these resale ECs, they do not have 1 bedder. So the supply is not there, all right? So when you hit the resale market, you know it's a supply and demand thing. So if when you hit the resale market, right, you will actually have the power because there isn't much supply of 1 bedder in this area. Okay, so if you are looking to make use of the progressive payment and to buy something new and to park your money somewhere, this might be something you can consider.
Yeah, so it's quite a safe entry because you already have higher transaction already. Okay, but at the same time, if you are an investor, that means you're not looking for own stay. Okay, you're an investor looking for pure rental play. I would say it's not entirely the best purchase. Why? Because if today you are looking for a rental play, what I feel is, right, you can actually consider buying Commodore instead. Because right, when you buy Commodore, you can straight rent out immediately. You don't need to wait for TOP, and also it's nearer to MRT. And most of the Commodore unit, the owners also never stayed inside before, so it's also brand new. So it's for you to kickstart your process straight away, I would say. But like what I just mentioned, if you want something brand new in future, then of course this will be the purchase for you. Okay, so next, so we will move on to 2-bedroom compact. So for 2-bedder compact, okay, let me just go through the layout with you guys. So there are 23 units for this layout. Basically, they are in stack 01 and 09 over here. Dumbbell layout, typical 2-bedder layout. Okay, dedicated dining area over here. This is pretty good. Okay, same. Open kitchen, you can enclose it. Dual entrance for the bath. Then dumbbell also very efficient. You have less wastage space of walkway, not like a conventional layout. Okay, so what are they facing here? They are facing HDB over here. HDB and future education. Okay, but how do you determine whether you can enter this 2-bed 1-bath or not? Because their starting price is 1.11. Okay, to do that, right, we'll compare to the Water Gardens highest PSF to see how much have they transacted, whether it makes sense to enter or not. Okay, so Water Gardens 2-bed compact 678 square feet, they have already done at 1.18 million, 1,740 PSF. So 678 square feet, you minus 7% away for harmonization is around 631 square feet. So the PSF based on this 631 square feet is actually 1870 PSF effectively. Okay, so you look at the 2-bedder layout. This is a pretty good layout over here. Dumbbell layout also, but one good thing here is they get an enclosable kitchen. Dining space is bigger as well. Okay, but just that the dining space is a little bit awkward because it's right in front of the toilet. Okay, so the higher transaction, the highest transactor is actually 1870. For you to buy into CCR, I would say the ideal is you either buy around the same price or lower than the quantum that they have already transacted.
So if you look at this, right, I would say 1.9 PSF will be ideal, but the indicative price, the guide price has already been released, so it translates to 1930 PSF. Still acceptable, but what you get, the layout is not that ideal as compared to Water Gardens. As you can see, this kitchen really makes a difference. So, and for 2-bed 1-bath, usually is go for rental. So if let's say you are a buyer looking for 2-bed 1-bath, 2-bed compact, I would say we would recommend you to go for Water Gardens instead.
Yeah. So next, 2-bed premium. So 2-bed premium is actually 2-bed plus study in CCR, 67 square feet. You have around 68 units. So facing wise, type PA is actually facing the landed side. Okay, type PB is facing the school and HDB over here. This is type PA, this is PB. Okay, so the cheaper ones, technically, right, will be those facing the south side over here, this part. So this is north, this is south. Okay, straightforward layout for both. There are very, very minor differences. Downside for this layout is the kitchen is actually not tucked in one corner. This side, you can look over here. You cannot enclose the kitchen. If you enclose, let's say you enclose, one moment, let me erase away everything. Okay. So if you enclose the kitchen over this side, your walkway will become very small, guys. Yeah, so, and the study is not like a huge study, it's just a dedicated area for you to do your study, I mean your workplace. So it's not here and not there.
Okay, so for this, at which range will you buy CCR for a 2-bed plus study? Likewise, we'll compare to Water Gardens to take the highest PSF for comparison. Okay, so for Water Gardens, as you can see the layout, you go in from the door, same like the 2-bed. Your kitchen is tucked nicely at one corner. Okay, you have a dedicated dining area, and then once you come in from the foyer, you get this huge space. Okay, then go in, your study is nicely tucked at this corner as well. Okay, it's not like an awkward position. Alright, so this layout, I would say it's more efficient for us. Okay,
yeah, so for 2-bed premium, right, normally 2 plus study, people buy for own stay. Yeah, some people do buy for it to rent out, but most people buy for own stay. Okay, so 797 square feet, the highest transactor is 1.46 million, which is 1833 PSF. Likewise, 797 minus 7% harmonization equals 741, so PSF is around 1970. Okay, so this 1970, if you remember earlier on, our 2-bed 1-bath, right, is around 1,800 plus square PSF. So for a bigger unit to transact at a higher PSF than a smaller unit, this goes to show one thing, that people in this area, they are looking at layout. Yeah, this layout honestly is pretty awesome.
the demand is there.
Yeah, the demand is there, and you get proper ventilation for the bathroom and everywhere. So if you as a buyer, you're considering CCR 2-bedder premium or 2-bedder compact, I would say, right, you have to be very careful because 2-bedder premium in CCR, the layout is not exactly the best, and Two-bedder premium, two-bed plus study is for own stay people whereby layout matters the most. So when they go inside, whether they feel it feels cramped or not, or whether the study makes sense or not, whether they want to pay extra for a study or not, all this is part of their emotions. Their emotions will run very, very high. Okay? So for you to actually buy into CCR 2-bed, I would say you must have a safe exit point. So it will be better if you get somewhere around 1.9k to 2k PSF, whereby the quantum is still lower than a 2-bed plus study at Water Gardens.
So if let's say, if not as the level get higher, right, and when you reach 2.1k PSF, your price quantum might be too high and too similar to the resale EC or even Water Gardens. Sorry, will be too similar to the resale 3-bedder EC and Water Gardens 2-bedder. So if in terms of layout, efficiency wise, people will naturally turn to Water Gardens if let's say the price quantum is too huge. Alright,
Yeah.
so you have to be very careful about this.
Yeah. So, but of course, on the flip side, right, there will be people who prefer new as well, like what we earlier touched on. It's just that your exit will be a little bit harder if you enter at a high price for CCR, because there will be too many things to consider. So we are not saying that you cannot buy CCR. You can buy CCR, but you must be careful at what price you buy in. So for you buyers out there considering to buy a 2-bed here, either a compact or a premium, let us give you our top choice and reason why we do feel the unit we feel is the top choice we can buy. Okay, so our top choice will be the 2-bed premium PA. 2-bed 2-bath, because 2-bed 2-bath is still easier to exit in our resale market. If you have watched our previous videos, even the videos with me and Jonathan, we have always been saying you buy 2-bed 2-bath. 2-bed 1-bath is harder to exit because we are selling 2-bed 1-bath is very hard. Okay, then they are all facing the black and white conservation and landed house. Okay, and looking at Water Gardens profit of 2-bed plus study, right, average around 27 to 290k range over 3 years, I would say it's pretty. I would say it's a pretty good investment if you go for a 2-bed premium over here at a good price.
Okay, so why PA over PB as well? As we talk about the view, right, you will get an edge over your neighbors because for 2-bed 2-bath usually is actually for own stay. So when you hit the resale market, right, emotions runs high for own stay buyers. When they come in and then they see this landed view, right, you will have an edge over your competitors, and also your buyers will be willing to pay a premium for the view. Okay?
Yeah. But of course, we will also have to see how the developer priced the unit on the launch day between PA and PB. So PA will of course be more expensive, from our normal understanding. Okay, so stack 12 and stack 20 will be more ideal over this side. Stack 12 and 20 will be more ideal because this stack 4 over here is quite near to the guardhouse, and this stack 29 over here will be quite close to the road, even though it's a small road with like a speed camera. 20 will be might be our most preferred because you are closest to the side gate over here. You can go to your amenities like way faster as well, and you get a pretty awesome view over here.
Okay, so now let's move on to the 3-bedder. So for the 3-bedder, we actually have 5 compact layout and 2 premium layout. Okay, the layouts are actually all very well thought out by King Leong, because they actually have they knows that the demographic here is a lot of upgraders. So for the 3-bed and the 4-bed, they actually put in a lot of effort on the layout. Okay, so let's dive deep into the 3-bed layout. Okay, as you can see for the 3-bedder, it's actually a dumbbell layout. So you have 90 units for the 3-bedder compact, and then where is it at? You have stack 5, 13, 21, 28. Okay, so these are all facing the landed view. Okay, for this layout. For this one, stack 8, 16, 24, 25, these are all facing south. Okay, these are the unit. Okay, so one thing to note is for this layout, your kitchen you do not have window, your toilet you do not have window. Okay, and also the kitchen is actually tucked away, but it's not enclosed. Okay, and it's not enclosable, and there's no sliding door at the kitchen. So future resale buyer, probably HDB upgraders or resale easy sellers coming in to buy your unit, usually they will have kids and family, and for 3-bed compact, right, these are the people we are looking at. It might not be so functional for them for this layout, but we do have other 3-bed compact layout which we'll touch on later, and there are some particular layout that we feel that might have a more superior floor plan. Okay.
Yeah, so of course for the price point, the starting price is already 1.53 million. 1.53 million for a 3-bedder, you cannot find anywhere else really. So if you are tight on budget, let's say your budget is on 1.5 plus and you want a brand new 3-bedder, then this is a no-brainer lah. I mean, this one is 卖香不派 lah. You still can stay inside because 3 proper bedrooms. It's just that you don't have proper ventilation across the whole house. But if you can stretch or you have a slightly higher budget and affordability, you can consider the slightly bigger 3-bedder as the layout is way more efficient. Oh yeah, and one thing to note also here, they actually, like what I mentioned earlier, the washing machine, right? This one is at the balcony as well. Okay?
Then you can see over here. Okay, so for the next layout, this is the third layout we are going through. This layout only have 4 units lah. Okay, it's at the top floor for stack 5, 13, 21, 28, which is the left layout that we mentioned earlier, facing the north. Okay. So the top floor is all this unit. Okay, the main difference here, not much difference. The main difference here is actually for this layout, you have this walk-in wardrobe, which is a bigger wardrobe. But we wouldn't recommend this layout. Why? Because still you do not have the window in the kitchen and also the toilet. So with this walk-in wardrobe, it's not that functional, although you have a walk-in wardrobe. Okay. So for this layout, the size is 872 as compared to what we mentioned earlier, the previous layout is 797. So the difference is actually 75 square feet. Okay, what you will be paying if based on 2000 PSF, right, is about 150,000 more for this wardrobe. Okay, so 150,000 more just for the wardrobe. The rest is more or less the same.
Yep, so you have the budget of 150k more, right? We actually recommend you to go for the next layout because the next layout is also 872 square feet, but it's a much better layout.
Okay, so 872, similar size to the layout that we just mentioned, but this layout is much more superior. Okay, come, let's go through the layout. So when you go inside from the door, right, what you actually have here is the dry and wet kitchen. Okay, dry and wet kitchen with the window. Toilet, you have the window. Okay, and the study is very nicely placed here. This wall, if you realize, right, is actually hackable. So if let's say you need a bigger living area and dining area, right, you can actually hack this out, and you can imagine your living and dining area will be so huge. So when you walk into the unit, you will get a very you will feel very different as compared to the previous layout because the whole view is actually bigger. Okay, and like what we mentioned earlier, 3-bed is usually for own stay, and buyers usually will look at layout more as compared to 1 and 2-bedder. Okay, so for this study, just want to highlight a bit that it's hackable, so you can actually expand your living and dining area. Also, if let's say you have a helper, usually when you hit the resale market, families come in, they have a helper, they need a helper room, right? What they can do is just to build the door and then enclose this study into a helper room, or if not, a store, if let's say they require a store. Okay.
Yep, so it's hackable because it's not the usual PPVC. This one is advanced precast concrete system. That's why you can hack it. You can see that it's not bolded. All these lines are not bolded. You can hack it. More flexibility. Okay. So, but there's only 12 units of this type. So it really depends on your ballot number. But don't worry, if you don't have a very good ballot number, you can go for the next layout, which is 883 square feet. Slightly bigger, 11 square feet bigger, which means 22k more for a better layout if you really cannot get this.
Okay, so for the next layout we'll be going through is actually 883 square feet, so 11 square feet bigger than the previous layout. Okay, the main difference here is just the foyer, not much difference. You still get your dry and wet kitchen, you still get your study hackable with wall, you still get your window in your toilet, and then a window in the kitchen. Everything else is more or less the same, just that the foyer is just slightly bigger. So if let's say you don't get a very good ballot number and you are not able to get the 12 units that we mentioned earlier, we still have 35 units here for you to choose from. Okay, just a bit bigger, so the price point might be slightly a bit higher because 11 square feet bigger. All right, so let's move on to the 3-bed premium. Okay, 3-bed premium 990 square feet. These two layout is very similar, so you put side by side. So the main difference is just a small difference in the foyer area. Okay, and also the home shelter orientation is different. Right, so just this minor difference lah. This is actually 107 square feet bigger than the previous layout. So is it worth buying this layout? Come, let's calculate. 107 square feet multiply average 2000 PSF comes out to be 214k thousand. Okay, I would say we wouldn't think that is worth it. Why? Because this quantum, right? If let's say you multiply this one by 2000 PSF, it works out to be around $2 million for this property. Okay, so if next time when you want to exit $2 million, you want to sell at 2.3 million for a 3-bed premium, I would think it will not be easy. Okay, might face some difficulties as the price gap with the resale is way too big already. All right.
Okay, but on the other hand, if let's say you go for the 883 square feet, right? 883 times 2k PSF equals to 1.77 million. So for a newer one, it's still cheaper or comparable to some units in Commodore and the Water Gardens. Because Commodore hit 1.8 million, Water Gardens 1.6 or 2 billion already have already. Then price gap to the resale 1.4M is not pretty far away. If you 1.4 to 2.3 is close to 1 million away, it's very hard for buyer to digest. Yeah, so if you go for this 990 square feet, I would strongly recommend you to top up, if you can, to the 4-bedder. Okay, because 4-bedder is 1163 square feet. Okay, let me just clear this away first. So for the 4-bedder 1163 square feet, the smallest one. Yeah, so 11163. The price guide is really out, it's 2.2 million. The PSF is around 1880. Okay, so 200k more, what do you get? You get a 4th proper bedroom, wider balcony, 3rd WC, and also come with a dedicated space for a study, which we will touch on later. And honestly, as a 4-bedder, if you want to sell 2.5, 2.6 in future, I think it will still be easier than you want to sell a 3-bedder at 2.3 million in this area. Okay, because 4-bedder in Commodore already transacted 2.45 million. Yeah, so you will be buying below the resale transacted price. Okay, so for the ranking of choice for our 3-bedders, very obvious, our top choice will be the 872 square feet 3BR CC. This one is only the 12 units one lah. Okay, so layout very nice, efficient. Q not good, go for 3-bedroom CB. This one is the longer foyer even though more expensive, but comes with greater privacy. People cannot look into your unit straight away. Okay, so if it's still taken up, please go for the 797 compact instead of the penthouse, because the walk-in wardrobe I feel really don't make a difference lah, guys. Yeah, if you want a walk-in wardrobe, you can just hack away in your common room. Okay, then yeah.
So walk-in wardrobe, we don't think that it makes sense to pay the premium for the walk-in wardrobe. I would rather spend the money to get a better layout. Okay, last end will be the 990 square feet. Why? Like what we mentioned earlier, the condo will be way too high, and you are paying this just for a slightly bigger living and dining area, and one more extra bomb shelter and one more WC. So these are the additions from the 3BRCC to the 3-bed 990 square feet premium. That's the difference lah. Okay, So let's look at the 4-bedroom. So for 4-bedroom, we have a 2 compact layout, 2 standard and 1 premium. Also the layout is very nice, carefully designed by King Leong, okay, because many upgraders in this area. Okay, 4-bed premium, 2 very similar sizes, just about 10 square feet difference. Put side by side, we actually spend quite a bit of time to check where is the difference. So the difference, like the previous, just the foyer measurement, so this is just slightly bigger lah. Okay, that's why you have a 10 square feet. So if you have a very good ballot number and you are very lucky, go for 1163, but only 24 units. If let's say your ballot number is not that great, you can consider this stack 18, and we have 12 more units over here. Okay, just a difference in the foyer area. A few pointers to take note for this floor plan. If you realize there's actually a small beam right here, okay, these two is the same, okay, in between the study and the living area.
So since the 4-bedder and bigger units is normally for own stay, on the emotional aspect, right? So this is something to take note lah. And also another point to take note is, right, the home shelter is in the middle of the house over here, and this is non-hackable. Okay.
Okay, so 1163 is the CA. So 1163 is all facing north. So 2 stack only, stack number 19 and number 11. Okay, for the slightly bigger floor plan is actually at stack 18, which is facing south. Okay, and then let's move on to the 2 standard layout for the 4-bedder. Both similar size, 1216. We do main difference here, also the foyer and the bomb shelter orientation. Okay, so that's the main difference. The layout is actually very superior, and if you have the budget, we recommend you to go for this layout. Why? Because firstly, if you realize, right, the bomb shelter is tucked nicely at one corner as compared to the previous layout. Just now the bomb shelter is tucked smack right in the middle of the house. Okay, so study also beside your dry kitchen, which if let's say you want to hack, right, if you look at this, you hack the study, what you have here is a very huge, nice living and dining area. Okay, when you come into the house, you can actually have like a very wide view, and it will make the whole house feels much bigger. And another thing to take note is there isn't any beam in between the balcony, so you get a very long, nice panel of sliding door, okay, for the sunlight to come in, and also for the ventilation.
So back to the concept about the many EC in the market, this 4-bedroom layout will actually give you an edge in the resale market because it's much wider lah. And honestly, the kitchen, all those home shelter is all well planned out, and it's for own stay. So when you step inside this unit, honestly, you will feel very good lah. Because previously, I think we went to view a 4-bedder in brownstone. The layout is not that ideal also. Yeah, it's quite narrow and all those. Okay, so for the facing, all the units for the 4-bed standard is facing north. So 14 and 22 and 30. Okay, so if let's say you have a good ballot number and then you can choose which stack you want to choose from, we will recommend to go for stack 22. Why? This one is actually near this road lah. Okay, so for noise issue. Stack 14, right, if you realize your view is like that, so it's a bit blocked by this 19 lah. But this one 22 is really just unblocked. The whole thing you can just see like very, very, very wide. Okay, so for the 4-bed premium is 1324 square feet. 1324 square feet, just now what we have at the standard is 1216 square feet. Okay, so the difference is actually 108 square feet, and if you multiply by 2000, it's about 216k more. Okay, 216,000 more. Main difference, this you actually get a walk-in wardrobe. Your bathroom 3 is actually Jack and Jill, meaning to say you can access your bedroom 3 and 4 can access the bathroom 3. Living dining is a bit bigger, okay, and then balcony is a bit bigger, and foyer is a bit different. Okay, so these are the small little details small little difference as compared to the 4-bedroom standard. So the previous layout actually is pretty efficient already. And this layout will probably be for those people who have a little bit more to spare. You have 200+ K more to spare, and you want a more luxurious and spacious feel. Okay, especially for the walk-in wardrobe. If 2K PSF, this will probably hit 2.6 million for this one. 2.6 million. Okay, so For this size, I would say it's a bit too massive. 2.6, you want to exit next time, you probably want to earn 500k, 400, 500k. You want to exit 3.1, it's very near landed pricing. And like what we mentioned earlier, even though you near landed, like in our previous video, even though you near landed pricing, you can still exit, but you have to be special. Yeah, but right now you're a 4-bedder premium, you don't have a private lift, and you're not a 5-bedder. You're asking let's say you're asking for 3.1 million in future. I would say it's pretty difficult to exit for next time. Okay. So for our ranking of choice, our most desirable will be the 1216 square feet, 4BRSA/SB. Layout very nice, efficient. There's no obstruction of beam in the balcony if you want to hack down the study. Then second one, if no choice, you go for the 1163 square feet. And last one will be the 1324 square feet. But the 1324, I would honestly don't recommend it. Okay, it's too big.
The quantum.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have come to the end of our video. We hope this video gives you more clarity on which unit to avoid and which unit you should go for in terms of priority wise. If you have a very good ballot number, be very careful with what unit you want to go for. And if you have a not so great ballot number, we hope you still manage to get your choice unit.
Yeah, so all in all, if you're still unsure what to look out for, please drop us a message or call us. Preview is actually happening now until 30th. 30th, 2 p.m. should be the last to place your check. Then target launch date will be 2nd August 2025. So after sharing so much about this project, right, being situated in an area with so many EC, do you still think it will be profitable or not? Like, so buyers out there, let us know what you think about this project in the comment section below. And thank you. We will see you in the next video. Bye.